Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here for another ATS News live stream. Mary Beth starting off the live stream on a good note. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. Also see my sound guy, Johnny, in chat serving tea for everybody. So just sit back and relax. All I ask is you subscribe and hit the like button, and I just appreciate that very much. And Adrian's here, Derek's here, Sherry's here, Planet Jace. Everyone's here tonight. Thank you guys so much. Hey, Tony. So Zoe's here. Tonight, we are going to start another deep dive. It's been 2 weeks pretty much since we have talked about the Watts case. Obviously, I like to cover other cases on this channel as this case has been closed and the perpetrator is in prison for the rest of his life. Hi, Bella. I do believe that there are other people who were involved. Lambs Bond 007, good to see you. And I think that a lot of you guys feel the same way, which is why, hey, Valerie, and I saw Jay was here too. I think that's why a lot of people can't really let go of this case because there's a lot of unanswered questions. We never got a trial. It ended in a plea deal after the case was only open for like 3 months or so. So a lot of questions people still have. And I'm being asked all the time, when are you doing another Watts Live? So here we are. And hello, the purple one, Kent. Good to see everybody. Okay, let's dig into it. And we're going to do, which we've never done on this channel thus far, even though we've dug into a lot of aspects of this case. Let's see, we've gone through the prison interview. We've gone through the body cam footage. We've gone through discovery files. We are going to go through the FBI interview. Hey, Angie Erickson, good to see you. The FBI interview with Chris on the second day of the investigation. So this would be August 14th, 2018. The first day obviously was August 13th, and Chris was not called into the police station for an interview. He slept in the house that night. He cleaned the house, we know of. Everything that we've kind of dug into is on my Chris Watts playlist, but this, like I said, is just something we haven't done yet. So we're going to watch the we're going to watch the interview, which took place at the station with FBI agent, Special Agent Coder. And yeah, we're just going to get into it. So let's start off with another thing I do want to do in my little deep dives is to highlight Shanann. And not only that, but we will dig into the discovery files that was stated, everything that took place on August 14th in the discovery, the little timeline. I'll read a little bit of that as well, and then we'll get into the interview. And this is only like 2 minutes. The reason why I want to play this is right before Shanann went to North Carolina. This is their trip to San Diego. It's just a little Facebook live stream that she had. We want to keep her face out there, and just remember, this isn't just about, Chris. This whole case has to do with Shanann and the kids and the Nico, the unborn baby. So just want to put her up on the screen. Florida Bass Fishing is here, and everyone else who's here. Hey, James, everyone else, thank you guys so much for joining. And yeah, let's just dig into it, guys.
All right, everybody. I am blind. I'm sitting here at the pool with everybody. Woo! Hello. Hi. And Nikki just hit 12K. She just earned her car bonus. How exciting is it, Nikki?
So exciting that I can't talk.
She's been working for over a year. She finally decided last month that she was going to go full-time working the business after leaving a job of how many years were you there? 14 years. And decided to make this change and help people live the life they deserve. And within a month, she hit 12K. Oh.
I hate you, but I love you.
There's a lot of hearts on you right now. I won't tell you how many people are watching. All right. You want to say anything?
Great job, Nikki. It's going to be nothing but Lavelle getaways and auto bonuses from here on out. I'm super.
And I'm even proud. I love you.
I love you too.
What kind of car are you going to get?
If Ken has his way, a Tesla.
A Tesla.
Oh, my husband wants a Tesla.
Well, then tell him to earn his own car bonus.
What are the choices?
So they can choose from a Tesla, a Cadillac, Lexus, BMW, Mercedes, and an Audi. So she has a lot of choices. We've been test driving already. We've been to the Lexus dealership. We got the Tesla dealership we got to go to. And so maybe the Audi dealership. So, all right, everybody. Bye. Congratulations. Bye.
All right. So again, that was a trip, the last trip that Shanann and Chris took together for the MLM that she was working for, Lavelle, aka Thrive. And she, in my belief, and based off of statements that coworkers of Chris has made and Chris himself, he was already talking to NK at this point on that trip. I don't know how much further the relationship was at that point, but we've seen other clips from that San Diego trip where he seems very detached. Again, it's kind of hard to tell just from looking at Facebook pictures and little short videos like that. But I mean, we barely even saw Chris in that one. He was there, but yeah, she was a good encourager for sure. I think that she did a really good job. That's why they kind of highlighted her in their little magazine and stuff like that. And now we are looking at the discovery files, and we're just going to read through the timeline on the day that Chris goes into his FBI interview, which we're going to break down. Again, we're only starting it. I'm sure it's going to take multiple live streams. Maybe we'll do one again tomorrow night. If you guys want to do Watts 2 nights in a row, just let me know in chat. So here we go. I'm just going to read this through, and then we'll move to Agent Coder and Chris in the interview room. So August 14th, this is day 2. And like I said, he cleaned the night of, he did laundry. When officers walk into the house on this day, they stated in other notes in this discovery files that it smelled like bleach. So first things first, look what we see. Kessinger searched Google for Shanann Watts. Watts played phone tag with a line at Frederick Police Department. Watts made an unanswered call to Kessinger. She called him back seconds later, and they held a 10-minute conversation. Sandy called Watts and held a 4-minute conversation. Sandy called again and held a 6-minute conversation. Watts perpetuated his falsity, telling Sam, I'm hoping she's with someone I don't know about, maybe, because I've exhausted all the people I know of. I'm optimistic we will reunite again. People have been stopping by from time to time. Watts transferred one last image into a secret calculator application, a semi-nude selfie of Kessinger. So, wow. While his wife is missing, while the police are investigating him, he's still transferring semi-nude pictures of Kessinger to that secret calculator app. Kessinger spent nearly 4 hours searching Google and the internet for Watts, news outlets, and news accounts of Shanann's disappearance. Now, here's the key thing. All deleted. So if she's just inquiring out of curiosity and because, she knows that the man that she's been seeing, his wife has gone missing, and she's just innocently looking on the internet like, okay, maybe there's an update, that poor woman. I can't believe this. Why would she delete that at all? Like, why feel the need to delete it? I don't know. In my opinion, that's suspicious. Watts began to tell others that he was doing interviews with the news media. Watts told Sam an Amber Alert is not applicable to the facts as they are known presently. Watts added, they just swept the house with dogs to pick up a scent. Watts said he has completed all his interviews with the news outlets. So this is the day that he did that infamous porch interview, pleading for their safe return, saying that he wished the kids would come running through the front door and barrel hug him. He never once mentioned Shanann being one of those people that he wished would come back. It was just a very odd interview. We've broken that down on the playlist as well. Watts added Fox 31 reporter to his contacts. Weird. Watts called Sandy and held a 10-minute conversation. Watts told Addie, Good Morning America has contacted my sister. Kessinger searched Googles on topics like, can cops trace text messages? How long do phone companies keep text messages? Difference between text message content and text message detail. All deleted. All right, does anyone else see red flags there? Watts had a calendar entry titled Talk, scheduled to begin at this time. Kessinger searched the internet for news outlets of this incident in Shanann's name. All deleted. These searches were conducted frequently by Kessinger throughout the next several days. She deleted every one afterwards. Watts told Nick Thayer that he was leaving now, stopping for gas. I'll be there. And isn't this interesting that he stops for gas on the 14th when we have CCTV images of him stopping at that gas station on the way home from his last date, supposedly with Kessinger on the 11th. So Saturday they go out for their date. NK searched that explicit material, how to prep for, that type of sexual contact. And then we see the CCTV footage of him breaking a 20 at the gas station at the register. So he's right there, able to fill his Lexus up. And here on the 14th, he's telling Nick Thayer that he's stopping for gas and I'll be there. Watts had earlier agreed to spend the night at Thayer's. Watts returned a missed phone call from the Frederick Police Department. And so he keeps missing their calls. So your family's missing. You should be waiting by the phone, obviously, and he's having to call them back. So this whole day, he's playing phone tag with the police. As a result of that call, Watts turned around and drove to the police department where he held an interview with FBI spanning 1900 hours to 2306 hours. After a brief call to the Thayers, Nick advised they would drive to the police department and wait for Watts to finish. Watts told Dave Cullen that he was talking with the FBI presently. So in the beginning of this video that we're going to watch, you'll see him with his phone out when Coder kind of leaves to do stuff real quick, and then he comes back when they're first starting. So I've been wondering, I wonder who he was texting. Maybe it was Nick. Maybe it was his friend Dave. Nick told Watts, Maybe it was NK. Nick told Watts, hey man, we are sitting outside thinking of you. I am talking to an investigator friend and she recommends maybe not talking without a lawyer. Oh my God. So he's been advised by Nick Thayer, his friend, who has an investigator friend, to not talk without a lawyer, and yet Chris still decides to. Now, this whole series, and the title on this thumbnail, How to Catch a Family Annihilator, Part 1. I mean, I commend FBI for their participation in this. I think Graham Coder did a decent job. It's CBI, the state entity, and Agent Tammy, who I have the real issue with how everything went down. I just wish it was handled a little bit differently by her instead of blaming Shanann for the kids' deaths, etc. We'll get to that way in the future when we go through that interview. Right now, we're going to focus on the FBI one. I know this text might get there too late. Watts added FBI agent Graham Coder to his phone contacts. Watts told an assortment of friends that he met with FBI. They have the case now. And then that is the end of what is in this little timeline for the discovery. Now we will get to the interview. So let me just pull that up. And I'll check with you guys in chat too as soon as I get this up on the screen. Okay, so I have tried my best to turn up the volume and enhance the quality of the volume. Derek, thank you so much for gifting memberships. I seen it as soon as I started reading, and I see that you did it twice. So welcome to those new members. And thanks again, Derek. I appreciate you. And if you guys received one of those memberships, Derek's right in chat. If you want to thank him, that'd be super awesome. And East Coast Beauty, love your coverage on everything. If I'm not in the live, always on the replay. And thank you so much for that, because sometimes a lot of my views come from the replay viewers. So you guys are really the MVPs. I really appreciate it. And being Bio Girls here, hope you are recovering well. It's good to see you. Beach Bum. Everyone else who's joined, thanks so much for being here. Yeah, her deleting things. I see your guys' comments about what I read that she was deleting. I mean, it's suspicious. It's definitely suspicious in my opinion. And thanks again, East Coast Beauty, for that super chat. Lots of red flags, yeah, to say the least. Hey, Margie. All right, here we go. So they are going into the interview room. And so Coder is going to ask Chris to write out a timeline of everything that he remembers that took place. Hey, Holly. As soon as Shanann gets home, up to the time that he realized that she was quote unquote missing. And we read through that timeline actually on our first live stream when we started to dig back into this. So on the playlist, I think it'll be titled like episode 1. Right now we're on like episode 25, maybe even 26. I might have lost count. So we read through, because it's in the discovery, like what he wrote happened. So he and Coder are going to go through that little timeline in the beginning of this little video. So we'll get started.
Go to show. Probably, Yep. Do you have a preference? Doesn't matter. Okay. All right, I'm going to go make a copy of this so we can look at it together. Sure. You good on water and food and all that?
I'm good on water. I'm good.
You hungry though?
I'm fine right now. Thank you.
All right.
So he's good on water and food. And yes, Dare Stumble, I agree. So he's texting right now. It could be his friend Dave. It could be Nick Thayer. It could be NK. We just don't know. And the thing about that secret calculator app, there's ways to communicate through the app that is not detectable, like unless you had like a warrant for that specific app, which they never ended up getting to that point because there was no trial. So Sherry's just getting comfortable. Lamb's Bond gifted 5 memberships. Welcome to those new members, and thank you, Lamb's Bond 77. I linked my Facebook group in chat. I saw that you said you joined. You can find me under the admin area, and if anyone needs to message me, just message me on Facebook. Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. And yes, welcome to the new members. So just to pause it real quick, in my theory, again, this is just a theory, I believe that Chris is under the assumption that perhaps, this is going to sound crazy for people just jumping in, that the kids could still be alive. Now, when we broke down the porch interview, I explained all the reasons why I thought that. I do think that he knows Shanann is gone, long gone. Thanks, Sherry, for 4 months being a member, and Beach Bum 1 month. Thank you so much. And I appreciate that little message to Beach Bum. Yeah, he is very nonchalant. Wife and kids are missing. Does he have hopes the kids could be returned? Was he told that they were still alive by other people involved? I've theorized it. Again, we don't have a time of death for anybody. I know that the children, it was said because they were found in oil, they couldn't determine it. We still don't have it for Shanann. If it went to trial, the defense, we've seen in other documents, the defense was looking into an expert, a DNA expert, who said even in oil, he believed that you could still remove DNA from their bodies, like touch DNA, if they were strangled or, handprints or anything like that on them. So I do believe that they would have come up with their own their own theory of the time of death. Thank you, Sherry, and welcome to the new members. I agree, Cyber Sleuth. There's no excuse. Kelly, everyone else joining, thanks so much. There is a little bit of, silence here. He's just sitting there with the clock going. Not sure what he's looking at here. I don't know. Look, he's wearing flip-flops. This is the same outfit he wore in the porch interview. It's also the same outfit he wears the next day. So this is the 14th, you can see at the top on the right side. And then he goes back in on the 15th with Agent Tammy.
Alright, let's
see
do this. I'm going to sit next to you so we can look at it together. So what I want to do is, we have a whole bunch of people coming in, from your neighborhood. Somebody saw something, somebody knows where these kids are. And I keep saying kids, I'm sorry, kids in your life. And I should say, I work these quite a bit, and so tonight, if I make one of those mistakes when I say kids instead of your wife and kids, I apologize. We work it a lot, and so I apologize if something comes out wrong, or, anyway. So, I know you're going through a lot, so we're not going to keep you here all night. Can we go through this? So, okay, let's see, your 148 doorbell detected visitor. What does that mean?
So the doorbell has a camera on it. When you get up to a certain proximity and when you ring it, it detects a visitor.
Okay. People are already distracting me there.
Oh.
So in fact, let's do this. So I work a lot of stuff like this in bank robberies, and when I talk to, a witness at a bank robbery, sometimes I find it best for them to just say, tell me what happened, get it all out, and then once you get it out, let's go over it, okay? So just get it all out as far as this. Tell me exactly what you remember, and I'll take notes about where we can go.
Okay. So this 1:48 a.m.
Let me switch chairs.
Okay.
Because when they come knocking, that's an help.
Okay.
When they come knocking, I gotta use that key. Do you need more water?
No,
I brought you Gatorade.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
All right. 6:40 a.m., doorbell detects the visitor. So when we were over at the neighbor's house, the next day we were looking at his camera as well, and it didn't show anybody walking up to the driveway, which is kind of weird. That's the only reason I put that on there, because it showed Nicole dropping her off, but nobody actually walking up to the house. It was kind of weird.
Okay, so he's talking about when Nicole Atkinson drops off Shanann, Nate's camera footage didn't pick up her getting out of Nicole Atkinson's car. It only picked up Nicole Atkinson's car leaving. So that right there is a small detail, but it's an important detail, because that shows that, which we already knew if you research it, Nate's footage, the company, it needs movement before it starts to record. So there is a delay. There is always going to be a delay with Nate's footage when there's movement, and then it trips up the recorder, starts recording. So the reason why I think that's important is because later in that morning, when we see Chris loading his truck up and backing it in, people claim that they see somebody walk out of the garage that's not Chris, and other people, think that perhaps somebody walked to his truck, stuff like that. So, there's a theory that Nate's footage started recording because of other movement besides just Chris. The only time he shows any emotion is when he states he didn't hurt his girls. I believe it. I think his accomplices killed the girls. I'm right there with you, Florida. I really am. The whole movement issue with Nate is coming into play in the Reed case too. Oh, really? Very interesting. And it's something that people have been very debated on in this case specifically, because they believe no, there wasn't a delay, or there absolutely was. And Nate, I think, even confirms that. I would want to be face to face if I was Coder. Yeah. And again, this whole seating thing is also a tactic used to, make Chris feel closed in, like maybe claustrophobic, just uncomfortable, even though they're acting like, oh, this is just, friend to friend, let's just talk about things. It's that good cop method, I believe, that Coder has tried. I don't think he hurt the girls, and I had my doubts even with Shanann. I feel the same way. I think that if he was the one that strangled Shanann, it was with somebody else, like holding her down or helping him, or encouraging him or witnessing it so that they knew he did it. And again, I don't even think that happened at the house. I think that she was sedated at the house, and that's possibly what he helped in. All right.
But she was in the house.
Okay. And what time are we talking?
This is still 1:48.
Okay.
So, 2 a.m., Shanann gets in bed with me.
Okay. 2 a.m., Shanann gets in the bed with me. I don't believe that. I've stated before that I think that something happened pretty instantaneously when she got home, due to the fact that her phone didn't have any activity once she stepped in the house. So for me, I believe Shanann's the type of person to kind of, text the group chat back, because Nicole Atkinson was texting it saying we're home. Shanann never chimed in at all. She never opened up Facebook. She didn't check anything on her phone once she stepped in that house. She was also found wearing a bra with underwire and a thong lacy pair of underwear and sort of like a bedtime shirt. I think that perhaps she was ambushed or bombarded while changing. Or another theory that I know Florida Bass thinks is she was looking for Chris around the house when she got home, and she wandered down to the basement, and then that's where she was ambushed. Not sure if he still thinks that, but yeah, I agree, Holly. I do not believe for 1 minute they had sex. And the thing is, in this interview with Coder And and again, his notes right there that they're looking at, he wrote out notes with everything that took place. He never mentioned that they were intimate, and then would have been the time to say so. Angie says she never went upstairs, just saying. Her watch indicates she did climb stairs, a flight of stairs. And she does end up changing her shirt. Like, the shirt she comes home in is not the shirt she was found in. So either somebody else changed her, or she went upstairs, took her watch off, or they took her watch off, and she never, and she's the one that changed. It's a big puzzle. Everyone has different theories, and I can't say that anyone's theory is right or wrong because we just don't know. And I agree. Those girls were alive, at least getting into the truck. Yep. I believe the shadow. I think I see him picking one of them up for sure. Her as a mother would have went upstairs to check on her babies. Yeah. And she did have a camera on her phone, like a baby cam where you can look on the camera. I just think she went upstairs. Florida says, I think she went upstairs and he wasn't in bed. So she went to the basement to look for him. And her Apple Watch doesn't say that she, like, I don't even know if Apple Watch does it. Actually, Florida, you work at Apple. Does it say if you walk downstairs? Like, because I know it'll say, like, you climb stairs. I think maybe she was told the girls were in the basement. A lot of theories, guys. That's okay, Dustin. We just got into the video. Prior to this, we were just reading the discovery and a Shanann Facebook video. He would have had to have changed her clothing into bed clothes or a fresh t-shirt. Yeah, she either changed herself or somebody changed her shirt for her, but I don't get why they would do it for her.
That's when my alarm goes off for work, and I'm supposed to get dressed, brush my teeth, everything I do upstairs.
Okay.
About 4:15, that's when I get back, slide right into bed next to her, and start having a conversation with her about putting the house up for sale, and talking about proceeding with the separation.
Okay.
And obviously it gets pretty emotional, like we're talking about, like we felt the disconnection was there, like falling out of love.
See, this whole emotional conversation, something that CDT and I have been kind of adamant on. We believe that took place before she went to her trip in Arizona. So right now, this whole timeline that Chris is reading off, I think he's fluffed it. I think he's filled in like the blanks of time. Like when she's ambushed, obviously he's not going to write any of that down. So he's going to fill this timeline with, oh, we had an emotional conversation. And then later his theories start changing and he's like, we had sex. It's all lies. It's all complete lies. She never made it to bed. She didn't fall asleep. He didn't wake her up and have this emotional conversation. I think that this conversation about a separation either took place before her trip in Arizona or, in North Carolina. And Chris is just transplanting that conversation into this timeline because he's not going to tell the truth of what really happened when she got home. Yeah, it's complete lies.
And trying to stay together, maybe just for the kids' sake, but we're realizing that doing like our homework, it's not, most of the time that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty emotional because we have two beautiful kids and we have one on the way. So it's just a matter of like, it was very emotional. We were both crying, and at the end, we just said, she said she was going to take the kids to her friend's house for the day. She would be back. Okay. And I was like, okay, it's fine. And so I went downstairs, made my protein shake. It was at 5 a.m. That's when I did that. Okay. Packed my lunchbox, had my oatmeal, chicken, filled my water jug up. 5:15, I went outside, backed my truck up, was loaded up. Had my book bag, my lunchbox, computer, water jug, my big clear container. I put big clear containers in my truck so it's easy just to pull out, pull in, just depending on what I'm going to use. My O-ring kit, and I knew I was going to do some stuffing box rubbers that day, so I got some various open-end wrenches from my toolbox, and I know those would work better than the ones they would give me.
Okay.
5:30, that's when I went to work.
Okay.
And I hadn't heard from Shanann for about 2 hours there, so at 7:40 I texted her and asked her if she could tell me where the kids were, if she took them anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I agree. Lambsbond is giving too much information. And thank you, Angie. I appreciate that. I try my best. Some comments I want to pull up, but I also want to get through this video. So don't take it personal if I don't pull your conversation or your comment up. They were never intimate or even had a conversation. I agree. Totally agree. This is all lies. It's too much. I know. It's just nonstop. That's why this whole case is an enigma, because you don't know where the lies fall, where the truth begins, etc. Yeah, kids are in oil and he sits there doing this. And again, are the kids in oil at this point? Are they not? Does he know they're in oil at this point? Does he not? This is all stuff that you kind of have to consider, considering we don't have a medical examiner saying like, yes, this is when they went in there. We don't have CCTV footage that says we caught him doing this at this time with the children. We don't have any proof that that is actually what has happened. And with how calm and stuff he is, it makes me wonder, like, did he know everything yet? Tony says if he knew exactly what happened, he wouldn't need to write what he wrote. True. And so he's saying, oh, 5:30, I go to work. He didn't leave at 5:30. He left a little bit after that. And then he says, oh, I didn't hear from her for a couple hours. And then I texted her and said, you know, if you take the kids anywhere, let me know. Like already, I think he's trying to just make stage text messages. And again, they could not get into his phone. Or, I mean, they couldn't get into Shanann's phone. She had just changed her passcode. So I believe that they were going to stage themselves as Shanann replying back to Chris. And that was not possible because she changed her passcode, and that tripped up a lot of their plan. Yeah, it is surprising there's no cameras at Servy, and they were told after the house explosion the year prior that they were needing to follow certain protocols and safety measures, and cameras at their oil wells was one of them, and they never did that. Even after they killed people in that house explosion, the company still was cutting corners and safety measures. I think that has a lot to do with everything that happened too, but that's for another day.
Nothing.
Okay.
Let's see. At 12, I texted her again, call me. Nothing. And then about 12:10 p.m., that's when my doorbell visitor, it read another visitor, and I was like, hey, it popped up on my phone, and it says it was Nicole. And I tried to put it on my phone to see if like she's just trying to get in or whatnot. And I hear like she's on the phone trying to, I could hear her on through my phone saying she was trying to get to Shanann, so that's when I called her. Yeah, I called her at 12:20, see what was going on. She told me that Shanann hadn't responded to any of her calls all day, or any of her friends' calls all day.
Okay.
And that's very strange, just because, I mean, if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. You know, like, she gets busy with kids, whatever.
Yeah.
So if she doesn't get back to her people, like, the people, like, she works with direct sales.
Okay.
So if she doesn't get back with them, that's strange.
Is she the type to answer the phone?
For them, yeah,
Okay.
it's like all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's just like, hey, wait, I'll see you later.
Okay.
So about 12:40, a few more efforts from Nicole to reach her while she's there, like outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And at 1 o'clock, that's when I left, and I was like, all right, I'm on my way down there. 2 o'clock when I got home.
So Nicole Atkinson arrives around noon, and he sees her on the camera. He tries to get her to, you know, back off. He's like, she told me she's with a friend. Like, you know, you guys don't need to call the cops. Not quoting him verbatim, but along those lines. Tony says, I think that he was a part of planning, but didn't know the girls were going to be a part of it. I agree. I think that he was warned if he didn't follow through with that explosion at the tanks with that oil leak, that the girls would be killed. And he agreed to it all. And then the plans fell through and they ended up killing the girls. That's just my opinion. So the thing is, he's tipped off that Shanann's not there. He doesn't get home till 2:00. So this whole time, you know, Nicole Atkinson is saying to the cops, like, I don't know what's taking him so long. I told him, you know, her car is here and the kids' car seats are here. Where is she? And he takes his, you know, sweet time getting home. In that meantime, people have theorized, oh, he threw things out at the dumpster because he's allegedly stopped at one. We don't know that for sure. We don't even know what was thrown out. Some people theorized it was the kids' toys and all that. We don't know that for sure. So, I mean, it could have been stuff that had to do with the explosion that didn't take place, and he got rid of them. Yeah, what took him so long? And he also stops on the way home and checks out like a house that the realtor was trying to show him and sell to him. So he didn't have any real sense of urgency, oddly enough. It's just so weird. Dustin said, I do feel the girls were collateral. He probably didn't plan on their demise, but something changed it all. I agree. And I think that the plan, hi, Roxanne and Christina, good to see you. The explosion plan that didn't take place was what, you know, the issue. Everything got interrupted.
Because they couldn't get in because the front door had a top latch to keep the kids in. Nicole and the police officer that was there.
Okay. Right. Okay, gotcha.
So they couldn't get in because top latch on the front door was hinged, and the keypad on the outside does not work to get into the garage. So they had to wait till I got there so I can get the remote opened.
Okay.
So the thing is, the trash in the garage definitely had toys in it. It had a doll that was Sandy's doll as a child, and it had a sippy cup. And when they were there with the body cam footage in the garage, in the garbage, you see those items. Those were not apparently the toys that the girls took with them to Survey. They took, Celeste brought some little stuffed dog, and Bella had her blanket with her. I think Celeste also had a Yankee blanket. They had multiple. They had 2 of them. So you see one of them at home, and then the other one allegedly she had taken with her. Those items were never found. There is a note in the discovery that says something about his truck, and it says like toys or blanket or something like that, but we never see pictures of it. So I don't know if they were looking for those or if they were in there. It's just a huge, you know, we just don't know. We really don't know. And then to make it all worse, it says, oh, well, sorry, Roxanne, I was reading from the discovery. I can't read and, you know, see everybody in chat at the same time. Love ya. So he, in his interview with Tammy, which we'll get to like way in the future after this one, tells them that the girls' toys and their clothing, which, you know, everyone was wondering, like, why would they have brought clothing with them, were going to be found under that random sheet at Survey. So remember the sheet that was floating around at the crime scene, Survey in the field, far away from the shallow grave and the tanks. There's that random fitted sheet that had dirt and drag marks on it. No bodily fluids were on it. He says you're going to find, you know, their toys and clothing underneath that blanket or underneath that sheet. That was never out there. They never found them. So it is sort of a mystery where those toys, blankets, and clothing apparently went. Margie, thank you so much for the super chat. Amber, the Watts live dives. I'll keep the Watts live dives coming. So many questions and theories. I think about this case every day. Thank you. I know you're not the only one. Again, I'm doing this. Yeah, exactly. Who tossed those toys in the trash at home? And why didn't they collect that stuff? And if they did, we never hear anything about that evidence being processed. Fingerprints, touch DNA, So weird. And why would you throw out a doll that was Sandy's? Obviously, it was special. She had saved it from her childhood and given it to the girls. It's just so weird. It's so weird, and we don't know why it was in there. Roxanne says, I'm just joking with you. I know. I know. I know a lot of people think about this case all the time. It's never ending, the rabbit holes.
When I got home, I opened the garage door and we went inside the house and looked everywhere. Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, nowhere to be found. Shanann's wedding ring's on her nightstand, her phone's still on the couch, her purse is still there, the medicine for the kids is still there, the car seat is still there, and there's no sign of them anywhere.
Okay.
3 o'clock, the police officer, detective, Baumhauer, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I butcher his name every time. Asking Nicole and I, questions about where she could have gone or who she could be with. At about 4 o'clock, the police officer that was there, he was checking the neighbor security footage. At 5 p.m., the same police officer and detective and then sergeant, another officer, they showed up and they searched the house again. About 6 o'clock, being calling around to anyone that I could, that may know something, called hospitals and hotels. 7:30, my friend Nick and Man showed up.
So we ended up reading in the discovery on, I think, our last stream, that when he called those hospitals, that he was only on the phone for like a very short time. And then in the discovery, it had a note from an officer who said, I called these hospitals pretending to look for a patient just to test how long the timeline of the phone call would be. And it was much longer than the timeline that was on Chris's phone. So his phone, when they did the extraction, only showed that his phone calls to these hospitals was only a short amount of time. We read the exact stuff in the last stream. You'd have to reference it. But pretty much he's lying, as we know. Writing out this little like timeline for Coder, and those phone calls to the hospitals were staged and faked.
Support, and from then on, it's his friends showing up. Shows Lauren, Dave, Jeremy, and 10 o'clock's pretty much about laid down, but I didn't go to bed till about like 2 a.m. just because fielding texts and calls all night.
Okay.
And I was just hoping that, I left all the lights on in the house, I was hoping that I'd get a knock on the door. But yeah.
So he says he goes to bed at 2 a.m. He left all the lights on in the house because he was just hoping that he'd get a knock on the door. He says to multiple people that he left every light on that night. He says that he was scared, etc. I feel like he thought that the people were either going to bring the kids back or he was going to be next for knowing everything and having his part in everything. So he left the lights on to, scare them away, or because he was scared. Again, it sounds crazy, but I just have my theories, okay? Everyone's got their own theories. Hello, Twisted Gemini, Laia, everyone else who's here. Thanks so much.
Nothing happened.
What do you think happened?
At first, I really thought maybe she was just at somebody's house, just decompressing.
Just blowing off steam.
Yeah. But after today, like with the onslaught of all the cars, all the police cars, all the news, all the canine units, it's making me lean the other direction about someone took her.
Okay.
But it's just, if someone took her, it would have to have been someone she knew. Because there's no sign of anything like being disturbed, broken.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's the way I'm leaning now. At first I thought for real she was just decompressing somewhere. I thought she was safe, even though everything in the house was left there. But now it's just after the day with the news crews and everything, it feels more the other direction, and it's freaking me out because I have no idea where they are.
Okay. If you could think of anything that we could do to find them, what would it be?
Everything that I've exhausted so far is like people that have car seats, because she left the car seats.
So if you have a theory, you know, what would it be? And he laughs. And it's that like awkward, nervous, duper delight. Like, you know, he knows the answer to that. And he's bold-faced lying. And if he believed that possibly the girls could still be alive, which is a theory, like Tony said, I think he truly was hoping the girls would be returned, in my opinion. Now is his chance to say to Coder, listen, I got myself in this situation. Like, this happened to Shanann, but they have my kids. Can we save them? You know, he would still go to jail for the rest of his life for conspiring or having his part in Shanann's death. But if he had any idea or thought or hope that the kids could still be alive, which I think a lot of that porch interview was him pleading for them to bring him back. Now is the time to say it. And he's too coward. He's too spineless. You know, he's been threatened, I'm sure, and told, like, don't tell, or we're going to kill the kids. I don't know. Yeah, he kidnapped his own kids in the truck footage. Right. I think that he was, that was part of the deal. Like, you bring them, you do your explosion, and you can have your kids back. But we're going to, have, he has no backbone. I know this sounds crazy, guys, but it's my theory.
And she would never just, Bella could sit in a regular booster chair because she's about that time. Mm-hmm. Celeste isn't quite there yet, but all the people that I know that have cards, they've contacted me. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a chance there's somebody I don't know. Being a guy or a girl, and she has plenty of friends through like direct sales that I've never met that could have a kid that they come and just say, hey, let's go, like just back up in the back, put them in, let's go. But I wouldn't have their name, I wouldn't know who they are. Okay. And this is like, that's what's driving me nuts. It's like when I told the news crew, it's like, if she's out there, it's like, just come home. Like, if someone has her, or like not just has her, but she's at somebody's house and she's just decompressing, it's time to come back.
If someone has her, not just has her, but if she's at somebody's house just decompressing, like, what does that even mean? You're saying two different things. She's at somebody's house she knows decompressing, or somebody has her. Like, which is it?
Now this is real. Okay. This has gone to a different level.
Absolutely. Okay. Do you have an inkling of if it's good or bad?
Yesterday, I would have thought that she was safe and it was good that she would come home. Today, it's more on the other side. I don't think that she would let it get this far if she was just decompressing somewhere. She's not talking to anybody. As far as, people that have reached out to me that I haven't talked to in like a year, mm-hmm. that are friends with her. Mm-hmm. Like one of her best friends, Mark Judy, lives in Florida. She works in the police department down in Miami. Mm-hmm. And she called me today. Like, that's one of her friends she would confide in. Oh, okay. So, and she hasn't heard anything? Nothing. And nobody's heard anything? Mm-hmm. Her parents, she doesn't like talking to her mom, but still her mom calls her enough that she would at least answer once. Yeah. And if she's, I'm married, I know how it is. If she's hacked off at her husband, would she call her mom? She would call one of the friends that contacted me. Okay. At least one of them, because she has a close-knit group. Okay. But the fact that none of them know anything is very strange, because one of them would have said something by now, seeing what this has escalated to. Is it possible that her close-knit group isn't close with you, and there is somebody who knows where she is right now? I don't think so, because Nicole she's very close with Nicole, and the way Nicole is acting right now, as far as how emotional she is, there's no way she knows. What does that mean? There's no way she would know where she is if she knew. Oh, so you're saying if Nicole knew? Yeah, Nicole knew the way she's acting right now, she's as freaked out as I am. Okay. So there's no way she would know where she is if she knew. Do you know Nicole that well? I'm decent. She's been over at our house a good amount of time. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I agree, Derek. He said he hated his wife, and that's what got this ball rolling. I agree. I think over time, resentment built up. I think that, I think it all started, honestly, when his parents decided not to go to their wedding. His parents and his sister didn't go to his wedding. He chose Shanann pretty much over them and their acceptance and opinion of Shanann. And I think even though at the time in the beginning of their marriage, he was happy, I think he subconsciously probably started to resent her for, putting him in that position where, they didn't even go to his own wedding. And then as time goes on, as marriages go on, the routine of working and taking care of the kids, he was very hands-on with those kids when they were babies, when they were toddlers. Like, that's a lot of work. And we see video footage and pictures of him, cutting the food up for them, bathing them, getting them dressed for bed. All this stuff takes a lot out of someone. And I think over time, seeing Shanann on her phone, and even though she's taking videos of their memories, I think he gets annoyed and he starts to resent her. And then it gets to the point where we hear in Anthony Brown's interview, the coworker who said Troy McCoy, the other coworker, and him theorized that when Shanann was missing, that maybe she met someone on her business trip. So that to me also tells me that there was possible theories or conversations between Chris and people that Shanann was cheating on him. And then NK in her FBI interview comes out saying he didn't believe the child was his. So, obviously NK's a liar, but at the same time, Anthony Brown is not a liar from what we've seen. And it could play into this theory that NK and other people were saying, hey, what's going on here with Shanann and this guy in these pictures and videos? Like, they look very close on their business trips. Is she cheating on you? Are you sure that kid's yours? Again, I'm not saying that she was cheating, but I think that there was a seed planted in Chris's head that spiraled into this whole, like, he realized, like, I hate my wife. Like, I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. And he decided to take the wrong way out, obviously. Yeah, and Chris could have said to NK in those conversations, like, yeah, she's cheating, or I think she could be. We don't know. Like, was it NK who planted the seed in his head, or was it Chris saying that to her to excuse his behavior of cheating? But it's hard to know because all this stuff has happened behind the scenes and we just don't know. James said, and no doubt he told NK that. I know. Like, how do you not, even if you don't like who your child is marrying, how do you not go to their wedding? Doesn't make any sense to me. I'll never understand it. Yeah, divorce is the most legal option, guys, but that couldn't happen here because he would lose everything financially. A lot of people say with this case, why didn't he just walk away? He needed the money from the life insurance from this explosion. So she had a life insurance policy we've dug into, and he had one on her through his work as well. This life insurance policy was also fought for by the Watts family after everything was said and done. They went to civil court and fought Shanann's family for this life insurance money. So it's all about money. I think that that's what it is. Yeah, it's never an excuse. Divorce was not in this plan because he wanted money out of this. It's, the typical murder that we see on all these true crime episodes. When there's life insurance involved, you really need to kind of raise your eyebrow and look and follow the money. Yeah, you suck things up for the better of the family. Family is everything. And by all accounts, from what we see, yeah, it's always sex or money. And here we have both of it. Root of all evil, exactly. from all accounts, once the children were born, in videos and in pictures, we see Cindy and Ronnie visiting and everything's copacetic and everything's good. And then things started going downhill near the end. And everything, you know, started to fall apart with that whole family dynamic. And I think Chris also realized, like, my family and her are never going to get along, you know, screw it. Yeah, Scott Rice, the lawyer, did a whole video on it a couple years ago when it was in civil court. And he pretty much breaks it down and says, like, yeah, they're fighting for this life insurance money. Oh, Jade Raid Parade, yay. Thanks for being here, guys.
And so, and you've obviously spoken with Nicole.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have any weird feelings from her.
No, she was there at the house. Like she was the one that was ringing the doorbell trying to see what was going on.
Okay.
It's actually Florida.
Do you have a sense that the police here, the FBI here, do you have a sense that we have a good enough list of people to call and check with?
I think so, because I've gone through my entire phone. I know Nicole's gone through her entire phone. Amanda, anybody that lives here that knows Shanann, they pretty much have the same contact list.
Okay.
So if there's somebody that's not on my phone, it's on theirs.
Okay. Has somebody, I think the police have Nicole's phone, or I'm sorry, your wife's phone, right?
Yes.
And I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, Shanann? Okay. So the police have Shanann's phone?
Yeah.
Do they have your phones? Have they looked at your phones?
I don't think so.
Okay. Can I run that out and have them look real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any password I'm going to run it to?
3307.
330.
So he gives Coder his phone. He gives him his passcode, gives him full permission to take this. This is when we know for a fact that they start. Hi, Princess Megan Elsa. They know about NK for sure. Now, NK has had an interview, I believe, already with the FBI on this day. You guys refresh my memory. Was it the 14th or 15th, her first interview? I think it was the 15th, actually. Help me, guys. Anyways, they know for sure because he has a secret calculator app in there that has all their pictures, etc. He, in the prison interview, says on audio that he didn't know was even being recorded. So there's no reason, you know, for him to lie about this detail. Otherwise, even though he lied about other details, he says, she told me to delete all of our text messages and conversations. I don't know why I didn't. Probably to help you guys out a little bit. But, and then he never finishes the sentence. So he's got text messages on this phone when he's handing it to Coder with NK in there, I believe. If you guys think I'm wrong there, because he did have multiple phones, let me know your thoughts.
3387. 3387. Are there any other phones you can check? Okay. When they look at this, what's the best thing that they can do to, I don't know, to say, look for these contacts, look for this Instagram, look for this Snapchat. You know?
So like the only thing on here that's
I think so
it's gonna be weird because our contact list is the same.
Oh, you guys have a shared contact?
Yeah, like
every Google.
Yeah, it's like I've like all the what drove me nuts is that when she like downloaded to the cloud, it multiplied or duplicated.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, so this is the same person over and over again.
10 people over. Oh, okay.
So we have the same contact.
Okay. So I'm going to run this out.
Okay.
So 330 or 3387, and I really want them to just not physically rip this phone apart, but really dive in.
Okay.
And are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hand this off to somebody.
Okay.
All right. I'll be right back.
Okay, so now we're just going to have Chris sitting in there and the clock ticking. Where?
That's 3387.
Oh, wait.
You get that?
He comes right back.
Are there any other phones at home we can look at?
That's the only ones I know of. It's hers and mine.
Computers.
She has a laptop, but she barely uses it.
Okay.
Those are the only phones that I have, hers and mine. Now we know that he has a work phone. He's got a personal phone and a work phone.
Where's the laptop?
In the office.
At home?
Yep.
Okay. I think that, I'm sorry that I'm catching up here, this always happens. The police are the first people to get a call, then when it's serious like this with missing kids, then a day or two later we come in, so I'm sorry, I'm playing catch up. It's always good to repeat it though. So laptop at home, does it have a password?
I don't think so. It might, but that's the one she uses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just stays in her office.
Do you have any idea?
I have an idea what the password could be.
Okay.
It's like 428-4915, capital S, lowercase w. That's their main password.
428-4915, capital S, lowercase w. And we'll probably just have you bring that in for us. Is that okay? Okay, so they don't have it now, the cops don't have it now. Okay. So laptops, any other, like a Fitbit, is there tablets?
I've had, but I have not found that.
Does she have it?
I've not found it yet if she has it, but I haven't seen it in the house.
Okay, so possibly she has it?
Possibly.
Oh, okay. When did you buy that?
Ooh, that was a long time ago.
And so is it a full-on iPad, like?
Yep.
You could use it to, like,
a Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi? Could you use it to navigate to an address?
You could text from it.
Oh, okay. So then, if it's possible and she has it and she's somewhere hurt or somewhere that we can't find her, she can't, in other words, could we somehow track that? Does that GPS?
It has to be connected to Wi-Fi.
Notice he hasn't mentioned her Apple Watch. Ellen says, is your theory explained in your documentary? I do plan to watch it later tonight. So the documentary is mostly based on facts that we know of for sure, whereas my theories have kind of just been sprinkled throughout like my live streams. Actually, I have a main live stream that I linked earlier for, I think the name was Nedro. I'm sorry if I forgot your name, but I linked it to you and I'll send it here as well. This is sort of the live stream that I just put in chat that kind of goes through my explosion theory. But every single live stream that we've done kind of has that theory sprinkled into it. The Watts documentary is strictly based off of, it's not theories. It's just facts and statements made. But I will say that like you can kind of pick up like innuendos and like an out Nedra. Oh, thank you so much. Sorry about that. You can kind of see like my theory kind of played out, but it's not explained like the live stream that I just linked.
For it to actually.
Oh, so it's not like a phone then, it's a,
No.
okay.
She has a watch as well, but I have not found that.
She has like a
Apple Watch.
Apple Watch, okay. Do you know where that is?
I have not found it. No.
Okay, so he does mention the Apple Watch. I have not found it. And then he quickly, bites his lip, like hides his lips, which we all know is a sign of deception. Body language experts say so as well. And hello, Cindy, and everyone else who's joined.
It's not on the charger.
And it's not at your house that you can tell? Okay. Do you think the password for the iPad's the same?
No, it's probably 2385.
238. Is that common for her?
Yes.
And
On a 4-digit it is.
Okay. What about for her Apple Watch?
2385.
2385. Okay. I don't have an Apple Watch. Is that one where you have to unlock it usually? Okay. And does she usually have a password?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On her phone it's different because it's 6-digit, but.
Okay. What's your phone number?
It's going to be 013119.
Is that a birthday or something?
Of the next baby.
Oh,
due date.
Due date. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that, man. So she's.
Okay, so now he knows the password because Nicole Atkinson on the body cam footage that we reviewed so many weeks ago, or actually months ago at this point, they were trying to get into Shanann's phone when they found it in the couch. He didn't know the password. Nicole Atkinson said, it's this, and it was Nico's due date, and that was the new password. And Chris didn't know it, which I think was a huge hiccup in his whole plan for everything. So now he knows it, and he's able to give it to Coder.
And again, this is probably something that the cops in the other room know about. If she's due in January, she's 4 or 5 months pregnant?
She was 14, 15 weeks.
Okay. All right. Do you guys know the sex of the baby?
We weren't going to tell anybody yet.
But you do know it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That she knows it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's finish this.
Isn't that wild too? Just as another example to show how detached he was from Nico, the unborn. He said, did you guys know? Yeah, I noticed that too, Derek. Coder says sorry, like he already knew. Right. Weird, because they don't allegedly discover all the bodies until the next day. So he says, did you guys know the sex of the baby? And he says, we weren't going to tell anyone. But he never tells Coder what it was. He doesn't say it was a boy. Like for anyone else who's, expecting, like that's something that you want to tell people, like, yeah, it's a boy. Yeah, exactly, Deco. He didn't say it's a boy. He just like moves on to the next question. Like he's totally detached. We already know this. He never wanted that child. At one point, Shanann texts her friends in her text message, and she says, Chris told me he thinks he's going to hell for what he said about the baby. So he was, very open with her. Like he said, I don't want more kids. This next kid scares me to death. I like it just Bella and Celeste, which is another thing that, like, for me and my theory, I think him saying he just liked Bella and Celeste and what they had is could play into my theory that he was just going to move on with his life, kill Shanann, and keep the girls.
And then we'll get into more of this. Okay. So how else can we track her? Does she have another phone that you know?
That's the only phone I've ever seen him use.
Okay, what's the phone number?
910-850-3286.
Okay. So, strap on your CSI hat. You can imagine the FBI has some pretty cool tricks and toys and everything. Is there anything you can think of that we should be doing that we're not?
Honestly, everything that I saw today was it took me on a whirlwind. I didn't think all that was going to happen. So that everything that happened today, I thought you guys were spot on.
Okay. Is there anything that a friend has said? Oh, has the FBI done this? Well, you probably didn't know the FBI was involved until an hour ago.
Yeah.
Is there any good ideas that your friends have had saying, man, I got to try this, I got to do this?
A lot of people have asked about Amber Alerts, but I'm not sure why that. I'm not sure I'm sure Amber Alerts have to deal with all right, if someone has taken a kid, but since the last person you saw was the mom, and you don't think everybody's gone. Yeah. That's probably why Amber Alert's not really used in this respect.
Well, they did a press statement. So Amber Alerts are a little bit different. One thing that helps Amber Alerts is cars. When you're driving down the freeway and you say, missing person, look for this car. What car do we look for?
That's the only car she has is the one that left in the garage.
Yeah, that's a good point. Jesse says, what's he going to answer? It was a boy. It is a boy. We're having a boy. Chris didn't care, right? And him not answering pretty much shows he didn't care. Thank you, Derek, again for gifting the membership, and welcome to that new member. Now, this part always interested me. Yeah, listen to him teaching the detective about Amber Alerts, and it's funny and comical to listen to, but if you look at it in a different way, which you kind of have to do at all angles of this case, you look at it one way and then you can look at it a different way. I look at it as he had researched, and this also plays into my theory that the kids were not a part of the plan. And he wanted to know, because he said in that discovery read through that I said that he was talking to his friends already about Amber Alerts. Now, Coder tells him, well, usually we need a vehicle description to put one through. But we've seen cases, including Sebastian Rogers and Summer Wells, where they put out an Amber Alert without a vehicle description. So not sure why Coder kind of says that here. I know it takes a lot of state resources and all that for an Amber Alert, or maybe he's trying to explain why they're just, I don't know. I don't really know. But I know that they've done Amber Alerts for cases that didn't have a vehicle description. But in my opinion, you could look at this in a way that like Chris was wondering if they could do an Amber Alert for the girls, because in my theory, they were not a part of the plan. So again, you have to look at things a little bit differently. Not saying my theory is correct, but I think that this is also like circumstantial evidence to back up my theory.
Alexis, and that's what you drove here tonight?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any other cars that you drive?
Just my work truck.
Okay. Lexus, does the, oh, Lexus is here, okay. How could she have left the house?
Only way she could have left the house is if somebody picked her up, but it'd have to have been from the back. Because it's the camera in the front, where the neighbor, the way it faces the driveway, it would have picked that up. Only thing it picked up was me leaving at like 5:26.
Okay.
Boom, right there. The only way she could have left if somebody picked her up, but only from the back. And again, also, there's always truth in a little bit of lies, I think, in this case. Again, I can't pinpoint every single truth in the lies, but I do believe that her being taken out the back is truthful. I don't believe that she was loaded in the truck. I don't see her being loaded in the truck. There was no death that was alerted in the truck by any cadaver dog. I just don't. I think he left with the kids only in the truck. That's just my theory. And I think him, saying that the only way that she could have left was out the back is accurate. I think that that's how she was taken out of the house. And obviously that would mean other people are involved. And that's what I believe.
How do you know? Is it your camera?
It's neighbor's camera.
Oh, did he tell you?
Yeah, we were all over there watching it with the officer.
Okay. All right.
They just showed me loading up my truck.
Oh. Is it on all the time?
His camera's on all the time, yep.
Okay. And all it saw was you leaving?
Yep.
Did it show her coming home?
I didn't show her walking in, no.
Okay.
But she was in the house when I left.
Obviously.
So I was just like
I'm just trying to think. So the camera, is it possible that it doesn't catch everything? Like a motion detector?
From what I saw, I think, like, he showed me other, like, examples, but it was picking up, like, minuscule things here and there. Like, it was like, it didn't take much to, like, just get it start recording.
Oh, so it probably is a motion detector then? It's a start point?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So then there's his camera, your security system.
And my doorbell camera right there.
Your doorbell camera.
And the only thing that was strange about mine that morning was that when I left, it said garage door 2 remained open.
When you left? Were you parked in the garage when you left?
I pulled out and I hit, and it said, I thought it shut.
Oh, okay.
And it said main garage door 2 open when I went back and looked at all the history. And Nicole said that it was shut when she got there.
All right. So here's another bit that, is a small detail, but I think it matters in the grand scheme of things. And this, is part of the Vivint alerts that we never get. The public has not been able to see it. They have been sealed forever. So why wouldn't they share the Vivint alerts, which is the home security system, to show you every movement, every door that was left open, every door that was shut, at the time that it was shut, etc. That's as much as transparency that they've shown, like with this video, with other videos, with body cam. The Vivint alert security system and Chris's phone are two things that are very, vital to understanding this case and everything that happened. Both things have been sealed. Oh, and the autopsies. We have bits of the autopsy. People get confused. They're like, yes, we have the autopsy. Those are a very small portion of them. So what I mean is here, Chris is saying, I thought I shut the garage door. When I left, I got an alert that was shown on the control panel that the garage door was left open. But when Nicole Atkinson got there, it was shut. So again, is there truth in a little bit of his deceptions here? Did he believe that, okay, if I tell them that, they'll at least look into, who shut it? because it wasn't him, because and again, it's not one of those situations where you can say, well, Chris was just lying. This was on the Vivint control panel. Thank you, Florida. This was something, no, they haven't unsealed the security system or his phone or the autopsies. All of that is sealed shut forever. The Vivint alert control panel is right there, showing that the door was left open. When Nicole Atkinson gets there, when we see it on body camera, it's clearly shut. So again, it's one of those things. Who shut the garage door?
But it said it was, because on my notifications, it'll say something's left open, but it won't say when it's shut.
Oh, so you got a notification it was open
Mm-hmm.
after when you thought you shut it?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Next I looked back, I saw it shutting.
Okay. Kids, do they have any security little watches?
Mm-hmm.
You know, something they have the call home button? Nothing like that?
Nothing like that, yeah.
No iPads?
Mm-hmm.
How old were they?
4 and 3.
Oh, they're pretty young. Okay. Anything else you can think of?
Honestly, like, we've exhausted like every option, every friend that we know
Okay.
that could have helped her.
Okay. So we talked about her decompressing a few times. Where would you do that?
She would have to go to her friend's house to do that. She wouldn't just go anywhere, not with the kids.
At a hotel?
I've checked, if she had any cash on her, I'm not sure like how much she would have had on her. She usually doesn't carry much cash, and the cash she had in her wallet was from Nicole the previous day.
From who?
From Nicole.
Oh, okay.
She told me that was the cash she gave her.
Okay.
I saw her when we found her purse.
For what?
No, I'm not sure. She didn't tell me.
Okay.
But that was the only cash she had in her wallet.
And is that still at the house, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So is her license in the wallet?
Yeah.
So she's got no cash that we know of, no license, no phone. Anything about the clothes in the closet, the hamper, the drawers that makes you think she packed some boots, she's going to the mountains?
Like, she has so many clothes in that closet. Like, it'd be hard to really tell if she took a little amount. I mean, if she took a big amount, it'd be pretty obvious, but like a little amount, we would never know.
Okay. All right.
She has like, say like that whole wall, and then the bottom, and then other side.
Okay.
If you take this room, it's about the size of it.
A woman with a lot of clothing? You don't say?
No.
Okay. Shoes, anything about the shoes that you think?
She has a whole shoe closet.
So there's nothing obvious that screams at you she's
No.
preparing for this type of activity? Okay.
And the kids' clothes too. There was enough that was there that I saw missing.
Okay. So, all right. So I know it's hard to talk about. You mentioned that there was a hard conversation that the two of you had about
Separation.
Your marriage and separation. Now that you've had a little bit of time to think, looking back on that conversation, can you connect the dots between both of you being upset and crying, and here we are, and now she and the kids are gone? What do you think about?
I think about like, did I cause this? Like, did I make her feel like she needed to leave? And like, did she really feel like the things she was saying? Did she really feel the same? Did she really feel like, all right, the disconnection? Did she really feel all that, or she was just saying it? Like, maybe like us falling out of love. Was that really registering her at that point in time, or did it register after I left to go to work? And then she's just like, I'm just gonna leave.
Okay.
It's like, I'm not sure, because she laid back down.
Okay.
She was still there when I left.
Okay.
But like, maybe she sat there and thought about it, like, do I really need to stay here right now?
Okay.
And now comes all the like. And he does this, only at certain frames of speech. Like, it's not the entire interview where he's like, and like. So it's always, to me, in my opinion, times where he's lying, tripping up over what he wants to say, like I just did right now. So, when he says, when I left, she was still there, and then he goes, follows it up with Like, I don't think that she was still there. I think at that point, you know, he either helped people get her out of at the back, or he knew while he was loading his truck, she was being taken out the back. Just my opinion. But I definitely think anything he says when it's surrounded by like is definitely, you know, filled with lies. We're going to go for 5 more minutes, guys. We'll only do an hour and a half. And again, like with my, here I go with with my pregnancy, this chair kills my back after a while. So I just can't do, you know, a long stream of all this. But I figured we would break this down anyways into different parts. So this is only part 1.
If he doesn't love me, maybe I should just go.
Can you really get into that conversation with me? And what I want to know is, you obviously have a very deep relationship with her. She's your wife. But it's going to be easy for me to listen to what was said and maybe think that there are some clues about maybe she did just lay down and cry a little bit longer and something happened to her. Or maybe she did get frustrated and she left. So can we recreate that conversation?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what happened.
So I crawled back in bed.
So sorry, let's start from, she gets home late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll start from that point.
Okay. So she got home about 2 a.m.
And were you already home?
Oh yeah, I was passed out.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I felt her get into bed. That was about it. But about 4 a.m. that's when my alarm went off to go to work.
Okay.
So that's when I got ready and everything.
So she gets in at 2, alarm was off at 4. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you were sleeping that whole time?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the conversation hadn't started?
No.
Okay.
So about when my alarm goes off, that's when, after I get ready for work, I crawl back in bed and have that conversation.
So you wake up at 4.
Mm-hmm.
At 4, then what until you start the conversation?
Get dressed, get my clothes on, brush my teeth, deodorant, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Shower?
No.
Okay.
Shower, night before.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I work in the oil and gas.
Okay. So then it doesn't matter if you go to work without a shower? Okay.
Doesn't really matter.
All right.
It's going to be bad anyways.
Yeah. So then you wake up, you get ready. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
You're fine.
So then what time are we talking about when you're ready to talk with her?
About 4:15 or so.
Okay. And so she was asleep from the time she got in from 2 to 4, or 4:15. You wake up at 4:15, you're ready. Okay, and at 4:15, you start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you talk at 4:15 in the morning?
I felt like I needed to talk to her face to face, because like I wanted to say something. Like when she was in Arizona, like I didn't want to do it through a text. I didn't want to do it through a call. I was like, I got back in bed. I was like, I needed to talk to her about this, because she had told me like when she was going to fly back that she wanted to get up with me so she could take a shower, because she wanted to get the airport off of me.
What do you mean when she got back?
When she flew back in.
From Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay. She told you, let's have a talk?
No, she wanted to get up with me so she could take a shower and get the airport off her, because her flight was delayed.
Oh, okay.
Her flight was supposed to get in at 11, but it didn't leave till 11.
Okay. And so did she call you or did she text you?
I think there was a call.
Okay.
On that one.
All right. And so at 4:15, what happens?
That's when I crawled back in bed and I woke her up.
Okay.
And then I proceeded to talk to her about how I was feeling, about how I felt like what's been going on with us for the last, what she's seen in like the last 6 weeks, because she was in North Carolina and I was down there just the last week. But from just being apart and just like figuring out who people are, it's like the best way for people to really find out who they are is to spend time apart.
I agree.
And it's kind of just like you can just see yourself. And then on the last week, that's when I went back to North Carolina, and I was there for her last week there.
Okay.
And when we were together, we could feel like it wasn't there. That spark, I know it's kind of cliche, but that spark wasn't there anymore. And on that night, I woke up early that morning, I told her like the disconnection, it's there, like it's not going away. Like the connection we had in the beginning, it's not there anymore. It's like I don't feel like the love we have is there anymore.
Okay.
And it's just like, I don't feel like, I mean, if we want to stay together for the kids, I'm not sure if that's going to work. Like bringing
That's
another,
what you told him?
yes,
Okay.
like having another baby, bringing us into this relationship, do you think this is going to work with us being together, or separation, I think, is going to be the best possible route for us. And that's when like all the crying and everything proceeded, and it was very hard just to talk about that. But I needed to do it face to face.
Okay.
And I needed to see her face, like while I did it. I couldn't text, phone, whatever. I needed to be face to face and be able to see her and know that she was going to be at least reciprocating back to me.
Oh, what are you
He puts a lot of emphasis on, I needed to see her face. I needed to see her face to face. That makes me wonder, with the way she died and all that, or maybe when she was attacked or sedated, whatever your theory is, he did it face to face to her. But I also noticed, even though he is still saying like a lot, when he's talking about not being in love with her and stuff, that sort of seemed free flowing. So I believe that he wasn't in love with her. I think everyone kind of agrees with that. But the way that he's saying this whole thing went down, then he starts doing like. Crazy Crime Chick is in the house. She has really good coverage on a lot of cases. If you guys haven't checked her out, I didn't hurt my back. I'm just pregnant and I'm sitting in an office chair. And after being in this chair for an hour and a half, it just hurts. So we're gonna stop it here while he's telling Coder, like, oh, we had this emotional conversation. And, I told her that I just didn't feel like our love connection was there anymore. The spark wasn't there. It's all ridiculous and filled with lies, but some of it I think is true. Obviously, he didn't love her anymore because of what he did. But again, guys, I really appreciate you being here. Let's do part 2 tomorrow night. Now, there are other cases I want to cover. I want to get, I want to cover Sebastian Rogers, even though there's been really no updates, sadly. I know his father just did an interview with Ashley Banfield. Maybe there'll be something that we can talk about for Sebastian. Rachel Morin, we covered her months ago when she was first killed. Now they have the suspect and perpetrator and killer in custody. So I'd like to cover that as well. Just a bunch of stuff. Karen Reed, I really want Valerie and Jay to do a panel with me and we can discuss Karen Reed. I'm sucked into that trial. And yeah, it's a lot to grasp. So I feel like that case is better to do with a panel. So whenever you guys are available, just let me know. Tomorrow night, let's do part 2. Again, this whole interview is a couple hours long and we've only made it 31 minutes in. So I think that, is there any updates from law enforcement being BioGirl? I've seen people posting stuff about the pastor and stuff, but I want to know if there's any, updates from law enforcement, because as much as I think there's more to that case, if there's not anything from law enforcement, it's like, what is there to talk about besides the ex-husband and his shenanigans? So let me know what's going on with that. Send me links too. This is going to be, I need to grab a cushion next time. This is going to be longer than 2 parts, probably. But again, this case isn't going anywhere. It's not going to be reopened. I know people have hopes and all that. It's just, I don't see that happening. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit like and join me here around the same time tomorrow. Sometimes I can go as early as 7:30. Sometimes it's 8:30. Sometimes it's 9 o'clock. So just kind of, I don't know. I'll try to do you'll know ahead of time. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Send me links about Micah, because again, I want to follow that case, but if there's just, stuff about the ex-husband, I want to know if there's any charges or information about the FBI investigation, because I know that they are involved, but I haven't seen any updates. And thank you to all my moderators. I appreciate you guys. And again, thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts and opinions in chat. I know that not all of us will have the same theory or opinion on this case, which is what makes this case kind of more interesting, because you can look at it from different perspectives and points of views. And thank you everyone who donated and who gifted memberships. Really appreciate you guys. And yeah, join me here tomorrow night, because there's a lot more BS that we got to dig through with this guy. So again, thanks everybody, and have a wonderful night.